Well, getting to the game was difficult enough for fans. Frankly, really getting anywhere downtown required some patience.
Public Works crews closed the DVP this morning. The annual spring cleanup is now underway. New guardrails are going in. Then there's all of the sand and salt left over from that long winter. It's being swept away as well. Potholes will be next. They will be filled, and 9 kilometers of the highway will be repaved. The city says the major artery will look in tip-top shape when it reopens Monday morning.
Of course, with the highway closed, there's a lot more traffic on city streets, but even on a normal day, it's pretty tough to get around.
The gridlock is a grind for commuters, and it's costing us all. CTV's Janice Golding now on a new system that could get things moving.
We've all dealt with it, bumper-to-bumper traffic.
It's pretty terrible, actually.
Oh, that's bad.
This is crazy. This is very slow, very aggravating. It's not even fully rush hour yet.
And while you may feel you're going nowhere, well, gridlock isn't going anywhere either.
We create a virtual reality environment.
That's where U of T professor Beher Abdulhai says his self-learning traffic lights, which use artificial intelligence and game theory software, can help.
Think of it as like RoboCop, where there is an intelligent software in the traffic light itself that learns the patterns of traffic arrivals and adjusts the timing, the green and red timing.
The smart lights communicate with one another, helping each intersection deal with traffic flow.
If one intersection is breaking down, then the upstream intersection would hold back traffic a little bit.
Reducing congestion, he says, an average of 40%.
So how many hours do you spend commuting every day?
Probably 3.5, 4 hours.
Probably an hour and a half sometimes.
How fed up are you with it?
Oh, I hate it. I'm laughing so I don't cry.
There's no question there's a human cost to all the gridlock. There's also an economic cost.
The Toronto Board of Trade says our region loses about $6 billion every year in productivity due to traffic congestion. And by 2031, it estimates that figure will be closer to $15 billion.
It shows how the traffic light extends itself.
While the smart technology costs $10,000 to $30,000 per intersection.
And we found out that, let's say in downtown Toronto, over 50, 60 intersection, the system would pay for itself in less than 1 month, actually 21 days.
That's cheaper than roadway expansion, which costs millions and takes plenty of time, something we can all agree we can never get enough of. Janice Golding, CTV News.